everyone, my name is Chloe, and today I'm here to talk about all the books that I read last week. So the past couple weeks, this video has been a little bit short and a little bit lackluster due to the fact that I've been working on my book haul revisit. Now that is over, and I have so much to talk about because my book haul revisit last month kind of made me slumpy. If I'm going to be honest, it was a lot of books and a lot of ebooks and a lot of physical books, and just reading for a timeline like that made me slumpy. So I will link that book haul revisit vlog down below if you have not seen it. But now I'm on a tear, and I wanted to read things that were fast and would help me pull me out of a slump. And so I have 5 graphic novels to talk about, as well as a middle grade and a whole bunch of other really great stuff. So let's talk about it. So first, I finished Fresh Start by Gail Gallion. This is one I talked about last week that I was in the middle of. This is about a girl named Ollie who is new to this place in the United States. Her dad is some sort of international employee, so they've moved all over. This is Ollie's second time in the United States, but she's just struggling to find her place. She's struggling. Her mom is Thai, and so she is struggling like with cultural things as far as where she fits in. And this one, it was just okay for me. She is very, very, very into manga and fantasy and all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of like her fantasy world in her head, and I am not into that kind of stuff, so this was not my favorite. But this one I actually really like. This is called Very Bad at Math by Hope Larson. So this is one that I got, and I will tell you, I think I let my daughter read this. It didn't have anything really inappropriate that I remember, but it wasn't great. This one I was happy to hand off to my 7-year-old. This is about a girl. I can't remember her first name, but she is Verity. Her name is Verity, and they call her Very. She is class president. She is great at absolutely everything except for math, and she is trying to kind of hide that, and it comes out, and her parents are like, hey, you can't do student council, you can't do all these things if you can't get your math grade up. And so she's trying to figure that out, and she gets diagnosed with a learning disability, and just how we all learn differently. And this, I just thought this was really great. There's friendship stuff going on. There's a lot of, she is very popular, but the reason is because she's just very nice to everyone. There's not a lot of mean girl stuff in here. And so I really like this book, and would recommend, which I'm going to go kind of out of order and say, so I like that book by Hope Larson. So then I got this one, Chiggers, and I hated this. I gave it a 1 star. First of all, the art style is boring and very comic-esque, and it's about a girl who is going to summer camp and realizing that her friends have all changed, and it's just, there's a lot. This is YA, not middle grade, and there's a lot of cursing, a lot of I just didn't like any part of this. I didn't like any part of this, and didn't like the art, didn't like the content. So I can't say I universally recommend Hope Larson, because I have one that I really liked and one that I really did not. Then I read We Are Big Time, and this one is it's based off of a true story of an all-Muslim girls basketball team, and just how they have to fight harder to be recognized and be taken seriously because they're wearing hijabs. People are awful. People are awful and so judgmental. Not everybody, but just how they had to really prove themselves in a way that American girls never do. And so I like that. I also really liked, there's kind of an emphasis on teamwork, and the fact that we can all go out and be individuals that are really great, but if we can't work as a team, this isn't going to work. And again, I like the art style in here. I liked the cultural references, and I did hand this one to my daughter. This one I did not. This is Speechless by Erin Nelsteinke, maybe. And this is about a girl who struggles with selective mutism because of overwhelming anxiety. So she can talk at home, she just cannot talk at school. And she has not talked in school in years. And she just is struggling with that. She makes a friend, and that kind of helps her. Her kind of former best friend, her name is Chloe. Chloe is going through some stuff at home. Her grandma or grandpa or somebody is really sick, so her mom has to go. So Chloe ends up staying with our main character, and she's like, oh my gosh, public enemy number 1 is here in my house. And then she kind of realizes she was judging in a way that she shouldn't. And so she overcomes her ability, her inability to speak, with therapy. We see her therapy sessions. And it felt, I don't know much about, selective mutism. I don't know much about this. And so I don't know if this was an authentic experience or not, but there's that. But the reason I didn't really hand this off to my daughter is because the kids are awful in this book. There is so much bullying, and some of it is over like sexuality and stuff, and saying people liked each other and bullying in that regard. And Mira, she just is starting middle school. So what, 6th, 7th grade? I just felt like it was too much. The bullying was too much. But this was okay. So that's all the graphic novels. And then my kids and I read The Kicks, Saving the Team. This is the first in the Kicks series by Alex Morgan. Alex Morgan is a United States soccer player. Or was, I don't know if she still is. Anyway, this is a book about a girl named Devin who moves to a new town in California, and she loves soccer. And at first she's kind of struggling to find her place, but she gets in with some of the soccer girls and she joins the Kicks. They are the Kangaroos, but a long time ago they became known as the Kicks. And so she is, again, this is very, puts an emphasis on teamwork and that we can all be great individuals. Here's about the reading level. I would say they're in middle school, and there's a little bit of bullying, a little bit of like more mature content as far as like crushes and stuff, but not so much that like it's one that I'm good reading aloud to the kids. There's a couple of things I kind of like tweak. I wouldn't necessarily hand this series blindly to my 7-year-old, but it's a good one to read aloud. And we are deep in soccer season in this house, and so it's really fun for them. They're really liking. If you don't care about sports, don't care about soccer, there is a fair amount of like soccer conversation, details about the games, about practices, what they're doing, and all of that. But my girls love it because they are playing soccer. And so this is, I don't know how many books are in this series, but this is the first, and we're going to just keep on keeping on reading. I think we're going to keep on with this series. I don't know if we will immediately because we have a big library stack. But okay, that's all the middle grade. Now let's talk about the adult books. So this one is How to Keep House While Drowning by Casey Davis. So it says a gentle approach to cleaning and organizing. So I picked this up expecting like a Lazy Genius Way kind of book. That is not what this is. This is a short little book about cleaning and organizing and taking care of your body and your house and all of that when you are neurodivergent. And so this book, I loved the approach. I loved what it is. It's got short chapters. It's got like a summary. It's got, if you want the abridged version, jump to this chapter. It's got a lot of things that make it accessible to a lot of different people. That being said, some of this stuff I felt like I could apply to my life. Some of it didn't because I don't have the neurodivergencies that she was talking about. And so I pulled a couple nuggets out of this that I thought was really interesting. And she does a good job. I don't know if you can hear the baby is like banging a bag over here. She's on the floor playing, but she does a really good job of, in my opinion, of acknowledging privilege, because some of the things she says is like, instead of hiring a cleaning person to help you clean your house, have somebody from like care.com come and be there for a set amount of time, and they can help you with whatever you need. And if that's cleaning, great. If it's not, great. And there's not that pressure of like having to tidy your house before a cleaning person comes. And so I like that obviously is something that is a very privileged conversation to even have. And so there is some of that in here, and I think she acknowledges it. And she also does talk about when you are in a situation where you're so low, you like showering is hard and things like that. And taking care of your body, nourishing your body. She talks about kind of the division of labor in marriages. And so there was a lot that was good in this. It's worth the quick little read to see what you personally get out of it. But it's, yeah. And it also reminds you that having a messy house, having anything like that is not a moral issue. And that, she's really great at reframing. My dishes, like my sink is full of dishes not because there's something wrong with me, because I'm lazy, because of this or that or the other, but because I have a family and I fed them and I nourished them and I loved them. And just kind of reframing that in your brain, because she says multiple times in this book, like, shame never motivated anybody. And that's so true, that like, you can say, gosh, I'm lazy, disorganized, whatever, insert the negative commentary there, and that won't make you be more organized. What will is reframing things and thinking of them more gently. So that was a really long way to say I think this is worth the listen or read or whatever, if you want to. If this is something I thought, like I said, I intended to go into this book more looking for like hacks, because I'm drowning in the sense of I have 6 people that I'm taking care of in this house, and we're very busy and we're doing all the things. And so I'm drowning in stuff to do, but I'm not like drowning mentally. And so this didn't apply in the way that I expected it to, but it was still a good read. Then this one is Trust Me by Brenda Novak. This was for my book I'll revisit, so you've probably heard me talk about this. This is a romantic suspense about a guy named, let's see, Sky is the girl, and I can't remember, David. Sky and David. It's a romance between Sky and David, but Sky was attacked by somebody named Oliver years ago, and Oliver has been put in jail, but now Oliver is about to get out because he has done good behavior or whatever. So he's about to get out, and she knows that he's going to come after her. So Sky and David kind of had a thing, like an attraction, interest during the case. And obviously they couldn't pursue that because he's the detective. She is the victim. And now it's been years and they're back in each other's lives because this guy is about to get out. And so it's a little suspense of what's going to happen when he gets out, as well as a romance. And I think this did a great job with romantic suspense. Generally, I don't like that genre because I feel like either the suspense is really good and the romance is cheesy, or the romance is really good and the suspense is cheesy. And I felt like both of these, both the romance and the suspense were good in this. I was rooting for the couple, but it was not steamy until like the very, very end. And it was, all of it was realistic. That being said, it was all good. It was all good. I gave it 3.5 stars. It's not one that I'm like, rush out and read this now. But it's not one that I'm like, so you could skip it. I enjoyed it. So there's that. Then I'm going to do one more that you've heard me talk about. We've got The Frozen River by Ariel Lahan. So this one was a heartbreaker for a lot of you and a lot of me. This was in my 5-star prediction video, which I will also link down below. But this is a book that I thought I was going to love. It's got so many things that I love. It's based off of a true story about a midwife in the 1700s, and I just thought I was going to love this, you guys, and I didn't. And I didn't dislike it. And by the second half, I really liked it. I liked the second half so much better than the first. So the book follows, it's a very fictionalized story of Martha Ballard, who was just a really strong woman in the 1700s, and she was a midwife, and she was a caretaker in every sense of the word. She was not like a warm fuzzy gal, but she was a midwife, a doctor, all the things. And this is both a story of they find a body in the river. So we're trying to figure out who done it. We know who it is. We're trying to figure out who done it, as well as her caring for a bunch of different women as they are having babies. And I don't know, the things I loved Martha Ballard, and I really want to like deep dive into knowing more. I want to know more. I loved her compassion with the way she treated people, the way she treated women that did not deserve it. And hold on, my baby just roamed off into the kitchen, and so I'm going to go see what she's doing. Be right back. Okay, she had found a bubble gun, and she's 10 months old, and somehow, like, I don't know if it's a fourth kid thing, but she knows how to work stuff that she should not know how to work. But anyway, so I loved her compassion. I loved the way she interacted with her patients and her people that she took care of. And I loved, she truly embodied like the do no harm. And she just was so great. I loved her relationship with her husband, and her husband and she are just marriage goals. And yeah, I really love that. I love that she was not a soft-spoken lady that took a bunch of junk from powerful men. I love that about her. I also can appreciate the atmosphere. I think Ariel Lahan does a really great job of setting the scene and setting the atmosphere. That being said, I feel like the setup of this book was too slow for me. A lot of atmosphere talk. And like I said, this is a personal preference, not something that I'm saying critically of the author or of the book necessarily, because it's a personal preference. It moved too slow for me in the beginning. And I personally did not care that much about the murder. I don't know. I felt like we could have had a very full story just hearing her, getting to know her more even, and getting to know interpersonal relationships more, and again, making this more of a women's fiction because I'm a women's fiction reader. And again, personal preference, I can see why people love this. I also am curious if I would have read this in the winter when the atmosphere was similar as opposed to when it's 95 degrees. And if I would have read this at the beginning of the month as opposed to the end when I was burnt out and tired of reading things because I had to. I wonder how it would have been different for me. So I'm not writing this off. I still think it's a 3.5 star. I still enjoyed it. And like I said, the second half I really liked. I wanted to know there is a case going on in addition to the murder of, assault. And I wanted to know how that was going to wrap up, if justice would be served, all of that kind of stuff. So this was not a 5 star, but I can see why people love it. And I really liked some elements of it. So there's that. Now, I've got 2 more that I loved. Okay, so the first is Come Back to Me by Mila Gray. So this is one that I pulled off my shelves in July because it fits it has my initials in it. And so that was a prompt in July for Deck TBR-a-thon. My initials are C, E, and B. We've got C, we've got E, we've got B. So I had this in my pile of maybe reads in case I drew that. Now, I loved this book. So this book, I think, is not going to be for everybody, but this book it opens with the first chapter or prologue or something. This is a new adult. The people, it's a romance with people being 18 and 21. So take that for what it is. But it opens with, she is at her parents' house and her brother and her boyfriend are both deployed, and they are both together, and obviously both very important. And the chaplain comes to the door, and so she knows that's not good. She knows that something happened to one of them. So he comes in and he's like, I'm so sorry. And then the chapter cuts back to the past, and we don't know who got hurt, who got whatever, until like 2/3 of the way through the book. And I loved it. I was invested. So we go back to when her and her boyfriend met, started dating, all of that kind of stuff. And we watch them fall in love, and they both go through some stuff together and some trauma. And you guys, so they fall in love quick. I think they started dating like 3 months ago when this whole chaplain thing comes up. And so I could see that being a criticism, that it's kind of insta love, all of that kind of stuff. But they're 18 years old and 21 years old, and the stakes are high. They've gone through trauma together, and this is their first love. I remember vividly that feeling of first love, and you feel like this is the one for you. Everything is great, everything, nothing could be wrong, and you're in that infatuation, it feels like love kind of situation. And when you go through something traumatic together, that just amplifies that times a million. And so I wasn't bothered by that. Now, this whole book kind of seems to be on warp speed, because then at 2/3, you find out what happened to who, and then we follow the aftermath of that. And I am not going to say anything about it because I don't want to spoil anything, but like I will say the last 2/3, a lot happened that felt like it was on warp speed. So yeah, I don't know, but I loved this. I was invested. I was listening. I listened to this instead of YouTube when I was working out in the morning, which again, if you've been here a while, that's a sign of a good book, because I could not stop listening to this book. And I was working out and I almost stopped because I was just like, my heart hurts. Like I need to get off and cry for a minute. And I didn't. But I really would have if I had the time and space to do that, because this is one that made me feel like I just need to sit and have a good cry. So I love those. If you do too. This is a series, and I don't think it follows the same couple, and I don't have any of the other ones. So let me know. But this was a quick read, and I highly recommend. Okay, so the other one that I loved was The Summer We Ran by Audrey Ingram. So I got this from Book of the Month, honestly, because the cover. It's so beautiful. I love this cover. And I was shocked at how much I love this book. So this is a story about Tess and Grant, and they are both running for Virginia governor or somewhere. I can't remember where. Doesn't matter where. They're both running for governor, and they are high school sweethearts, basically. And so we are finding out what they have had no contact. They're both married to other people. They both have lives going on, but we're finding out what happened in the past as well as what's going on now. And you guys, I love A First Love, Second Chance. This is very similar to Come Back to Me by Mila Gray. They were together as teenagers. We get to see that as and young adults, and they both went through some trauma together, which I feel like bonded them. And then now we're trying to reconcile that, and their marriages are kind of falling apart, and there's so much goodness. I mean, I was just so invested. And again, I had to know what happened in the past, what happened. And it's neither of these are that like, I don't know, miscommunication trope. None of that really is the case. There is a little bit in this, but not so much that it ruined it for me. There is, I don't want to say much. There is a lack of communication in this for sure, but I don't know. I was invested. The trauma that they experienced together. Okay, sorry. I don't know where that cut off because I'm single momming right now and it is tricky. But anyway, I loved this. I was rooting for the couple. I don't love Grant. Honestly, I'm not rooting for him as much as I wanted to because there were things I did not love about him. But I did really love this story and I loved seeing them and I loved the outcome. And I will tell you major trigger warnings in this. If you have any triggers around motherhood or any of that kind of thing, please look up triggers because this one was painful at times. And this is not a light and fluffy romance at all. This is heavy. But again, I love books that make me feel something. And this one definitely did that. So really strong 4 stars on both of those last ones. So we are turning it around, guys. I was slumpy and now I'm getting out of it. I'm getting into things I love. I'm currently reading, let's talk about it. We are reading The World According to Humphrey, me and my kids, that we have like almost this whole series. And this is just a cute thing. And we also have it on audio. And so we've been into puzzling again lately. And so we can listen to it as we do that. And then I'm reading this one for myself, Macy McMillan and the Rainbow Goddess. It is a middle grade book told in verse. So I should get this done like today. Just pre-reading it for my daughter because I'm really interested in this and I've heard good things. But then I'm also listening to / reading The Vaccine Plan by Robert W. Sears. Because I've got 2 kids that are about to be due for vaccines here next week. And I want to make sure that I've got as much information as I can possibly get about what I want to do for them. And so this one, it kind of just makes my brain hurt, not because it's a very basic overview of all the different shots that are recommended in the first 18 years of life here in the United States. This was written in 2007 or something, so it's a little bit outdated because they are constantly adding and changing things. But I am enjoying it. Like, it's giving just a glimpse. It's not fully answering any questions that I have, and it's not fully swaying me one way or the other, but it is additional information. I will say this is pretty pro-vaccine. Just that's the stance he takes for the most part. But he's very good about like the way I see it, and reasons why people do and don't give certain vaccines and things. And so, yeah, this is adding more information into my brain, but that's why I'm also reading this because sometimes I need something really easy and thoughtless. And so these are the 2 that I'm reading. We're reading The World According to Humphrey together, and that is it. So thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one.